I love the organization, I love what it stands for, and I'm proud to be able to lead it.
So this has been crazy couple of years for you. So you spend your year working with the federation, and then you become president the next year in December, and then get a couple of months under your belt, and then lower the boom.
Yeah.
That is COVID.
One of the last things I said is I was looking forward to meeting everybody and getting out and seeing them, and all of that just got stopped.
That's one thing about Farm Bureau. It's all about building relationships, both within Farm Bureau, outside of Farm Bureau, with the public. So that's certainly been a challenge.
Yeah, and it's such a, such a large organization that touches so many things. And so whether it's downtown in Raleigh, working with legislators, and you want to meet those folks, and you don't get an opportunity to do that. The regulators, the people that we deal with all the time, those relationships, not to mention our people, our volunteers in all 100 counties. So we're going to get there. We're going to get there, and we'll be okay. And it's just a little blip that we got to deal with.
And also, I think being in a pandemic is, in agriculture as a whole, maybe brought to light some of our weaknesses and how we can strengthen things. So when it comes to our food supply chain, that kind of thing.
Well, I hope we all sort of stopped and said, what's really important? We got to have food, and we got to understand where our food comes from. And so we had a lot of people who started asking those questions, and that's great. We want them to ask questions. We want to talk about how we feed the world, why we had that just-in-time supply, and why that didn't work for a few weeks there, and why we had to shift. And so conversations are always good. That's what we welcome. We want to talk about it, because it is something that people don't understand, and 98% of people have really no connection to their food except wherever they buy it, if it's a grocery store or what. So we have a tremendous job to do to make that connection. And hopefully, took a global pandemic maybe, but hopefully we have an opportunity here to do that.
Well, things are starting to open up a little bit, so it looks like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Is there something you're looking forward to more than anything?
Just building relationships, just being with people. I'm very hopeful we can all get vaccinated, and that we can get back to normal and going to see people's farms. Because I know how much it means for me when people come to my farm and enjoy it. These are called crowns.
Oh, you have a flower already.
Yeah,
you have a bloom.
Yeah, they will stick out 1 or 2 blooms every now and then.
Huh. Wow, and you said, I think, 4 acres of strawberries?
3 acres of
3
strawberries.
3 acres, okay.
2 acres of blueberries, and about a ½ acre of blackberries.
Wow. That was a big switch for you initially, from tobacco to strawberries.
Very big.
So, probably a learning curve too, and everything else.
It was. I mean, it was the first time really that we grew a crop that we didn't really know anything about.
Yeah.
So you sort of start way back from scratch.
So quite a few years growing strawberries, and then last year with COVID, and boy, everything changed, and I think everyone was nervous about what would happen, but it turned out to really benefit your farm and a lot of farms, really.
Yeah, I was thinking,
farms,
one of my first conversations with Governor Cooper, how's this going to affect farms? And I was really concerned about our local farms and agritourism, all that, as people were staying home. But what we found is it was actually the opposite. People were ready to get out of the house and go to a farm outside where they could socially distance and be safe. And so it turned out to be a really great year for this type of farm.
And a big year for your son, of course, since you're in Raleigh now, and he's in charge of running the farm, and then you get this blockbuster year.
Yes, Billy had been here with us on the farm. Obviously, we had a sort of a plan, but then COVID throws a kink in that, and as we got going, he was just overwhelmed with all the business, which I told him was a good thing and to not worry about it, but he did great. He handled it well. But it was a blessing to see him, succeed and have such a great year this year, whether it was COVID related or not. And then we get the best of both worlds. We get to come back and be here on the weekends and, maybe farm a little and see the grandkids. So it's good.